This week's discussion, we're going to look at the causes that brought the United States to war with Mexico in 1846. So just like the discussion you did on the causes of the War of 1812, you want to stay within that time period before 1846. What you do not want to write about is the Texas Revolution. That happened 10 years prior to, although a little portion of what happened as a result of the Texas Revolution will come to play, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So, well, first and foremost, what you want to write about is the desire for California. This comes from President Polk, something that he promised that he would acquire as president when he ran in 1844. The problem with trying to get California is twofold. First, you have the Oregon Territory with Great Britain. That has to be solved, because you don't want to try to start a war with Mexico and then Great Britain come along and ally themselves with Mexico. That could be very problematic. So the first order of business for President Polk was to settle the issue of the Oregon Territory, which they were able to do. Basically split it in half, and therefore it'd be the first come, first serve, which Polk understood there's more Americans that'd be willing to go to the Oregon Territory, and that could solve that problem. So now Great Britain's out of the way. The second most important issue is you want to try to negotiate. Now, he does not only want California, which was called Alta California, in the New Mexico territories, and he's going to offer $15 million for that entire territory. And he sends his ambassador Slidell there to try to negotiate, but the Mexicans would not accept Slidell because he had not basically been only appointed, but he had not been approved by the United States Senate. So now comes the second step. Negotiations have now failed. The disputed border. Now, when Texas was a republic after the Revolution of 1836, they claimed, and they said with the Mexican government then, that their southern border was the Rio Grande River. The Mexican government claimed, no, the southern border is north, the Nueces River. Now, Mexico would stop relations with the United States after Texas became a U.S. territory and a state in 1845. So there's already that problem seething. So here is the way that Polk is going to pick a fight with Mexico and make it look like it's their fault. He orders General Zachary Taylor, that's very important, of the Army of the West to cross the Nueces River. This is a disputed territory. What he hopes will happen. The Mexican forces are going to fire on Zachary Taylor's forces in the disputed area. Once that happens and American soldiers are killed, this is the excuse Polk is going to use, and he's going to be for a joint session of Congress and ask for a declaration of war, claiming an American blood has been spilt on American soil. Now, what's interesting is future President Abraham Lincoln, who was a congressman from Illinois, would want to enter a spot resolution. In other words, he wants to make sure, was there blood actually spilt on American soil? So Lincoln is going to accuse Polk of purposely picking a fight in order to have his war. And of course, the end result is the Mexicans are going to be easily defeated within 2 years, and that territory of California, along with New Mexico and other territories, will become part of the United States. What's also interesting to note is what Lincoln accused Polk of doing, he will do to have the South fire the first shot that will start the American Civil War. So, as before, you can always send me your discussion before 4 p.m. Thursday. I'll critique it and get it back to you. Let's have a good week.